while fighter planes scramble overhead and enigmatic explosions rock Iranian cities. Iranian troops have conducted covert ballistic missile tests in several districts. The Chief of Staff of Iran's Armed Forces, Major General Abdul Rahim Mousavi, claims that any U.S. error in judgment will result in such devastating punishment that no American will be safe.
Military presence in the Middle East has been beefed up significantly amid escalating tensions with Iran. The Islamic regime's Ayatollah is warning of a possible regional war if the U.S. strikes.
So Iran is warning any attack on the region would lead to war as the U.S. heightens its military assets in the Middle East. Trump, of course, is claiming that he wants a deal on this.
There were multiple explosions around Iran on January 31st, 2026. An explosion occurred after 14 people were hurt and a 4-year-old girl was killed in an 8th-floor building in Bandar Abbas. The explosions occurred a few weeks following the Iranian protests of 2025 to 2026, which began on December 28, 2025, and ended when tens of thousands of demonstrators were shot dead by Iranian authorities. Iranian officials are frantically referring to the simultaneous explosions that occurred in several places as gas leaks. This is the most hazardous escalation between Iran and Western forces since the 12-day conflict. Therefore, spread the word to everyone you know. The building's windows were severely damaged, as were the 1st through 3rd floors, a shop, and a few cars. Broken. Before we go into detail about what transpired and why this is so important, very much, please remember to sign up for daily military talks. We are providing you with the authentic analysis that no one else will examine. A man wearing a neck brace and dressed in a green security force uniform was seen being transported out of the destroyed building on a stretcher in a video published by an online newspaper. Iran International claims that Sophie Sahel and its network partners took the footage of the security force member being removed from the building offline. According to unofficial reports, the explosion targeted Alarza Tanjiri, a naval commander in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The Iranian government is frantically trying to steer the conversation, as there are rumors that the commanders of the IRGC are being targeted. However, this is the first significant turn that alters everything. According to local officials, 4 persons were killed in an explosion that occurred in Avis. On January 31st, 2026, explosions also happened in Pirant and Karaj. That equates to gas leaks occurring concurrently in 4 different cities. Consider the timing. Israeli officials told Reuters that neither of the blasts on Saturday had anything to do with their nation. The blasts in Bandar Abbas and Avaz were disputed by 2 Israeli officials. A request for comment was not immediately answered by the Pentagon. The explosions brought to light the uneasy atmosphere that pervaded Iran during the clerical ruler's dispute with the Trump administration. Prior to the 2 explosions, reports on Masoud, the president of Iran, Peshkian charged Israel, the United States, and European politicians are accused of taking advantage of Iran's economic issues, causing instability, and giving people the tools they need to destroy the country. The explosion took place the day before Iran's scheduled naval exercise in the Persian Gulf's narrow outlet, the Strait of Hormuz, where a quarter of all oil traded passes. Directly following the blasts, Iran declared large-scale live-fire drills. Situated on the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway between Iran and Oman that handles approximately 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil, Bandar Abbas is home to Iran's most significant container port. This isn't just any old place. Iran's strategic naval headquarters are located here. The second shocking surprise followed. Washington has been alerted by American friends in the Persian Gulf that Iranian missiles present a significant risk to U.S. interests in West Asia as they step up efforts to prevent a conflict that might have disastrous effects on the entire region. According to the Washington Post, which cited 2 Western officials with knowledge of the situation who spoke on condition of anonymity, Persian Gulf allies cautioned the U.S. that Iran still has critical capabilities that could allow it to attack U.S. targets, such as military installations and troop concentrations throughout the region. Despite allegations that Iran's missile forces suffered damage during the 12-day conflict with Israel in June of last year, an evaluation conducted by a U.S. ally in the Persian Gulf showed that essential components of the program continue to exist, and some of its functions have subsequently been restored. The report claims that Iran still has launchers, shorter-range missiles, and pieces of its missile production infrastructure that can reach over a dozen U.S. military installations in the Persian Gulf, which house tens of thousands of U.S. soldiers. However, the third turn of events shows that Iran is upgrading its capabilities more quickly than anyone had anticipated. Tehran has increased missile manufacturing since the battle with Israel and fixed numerous damaged launchers, according to Amir Mousawi, a former Iranian official who currently resides in Iraq, who spoke the Post. Targeting some launch systems has become more difficult due to their relocation to mountainous regions. Iran boasts mountains that reach heights of thousands of meters. According to Mousawi, it is not feasible to easily access and harm these skills. Iran has the biggest missile stockpile in West Asia, according to David D. Rowe, a former Pentagon officer at the Air Marshall Institute. According to him, Iran possesses more missiles than all of the Persian Gulf Cooperation Council's member nations. Due to their incomplete integration and primary concentration on a small number of locations, regional air defenses are susceptible to saturation assaults. Iran's sheer bulk might overwhelm defensive systems. The fourth terrible reality was then exposed by intelligence. Iran has more than 3,000 ballistic missiles, according to U.S. Central Command's General Kenneth McKenzie in 2022. The nation's growing land assault cruise missile fleet is not included in this. Iran has achieved significant. Its missiles have become more accurate and precise over the last 10 years, making them a more formidable conventional threat. Crude Scud derivatives are no longer a topic of discussion. These guns are guided with precision, rebuilding its ballistic missile stockpiles, working toward an intercontinental strike capability, and preparing for the upcoming conflict are all priorities for the Islamic Republic. American friends in the Middle East, such as Israel and the Gulf Arab monarchies, as well as the mainland United States, are under danger from these initiatives, as are members of the European North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Iranian intercontinental missiles have the potential to strike American cities. However, the most startling discovery to yet is the fifth twist. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and Army have demonstrated and tested novel offensive and defensive weaponry in extensive military drills over the previous 3 months. Amid threats from Israel and the United States to destroy Iranian military installations, vital energy infrastructure, and nuclear facilities, the nation is getting ready for another turbulent year. The Northern Indian Ocean, the Sea of Oman, and Iran have all hosted the Iqtidar, Zulfikar, and Great Prophet exercises. According to the IRGC, it will shortly introduce a new 2,000-kilometer range anti-ship supersonic cruise missile. American carrier strike groups are at risk throughout the whole region because of that range. Within what state television referred to as a missile megametropolis, there are no safe zones left. Numerous ballistic missiles could be seen, some on mobile launchers for instant implementation. A liquid fuel rocket with a 2,000 kilometers range and an improved warhead that may reportedly weigh up to 2 tons is one of these, the Khorram Shah 4. A portion of a covert underground naval facility located along Iran's southern coast was also displayed by the IRGC Navy. It featured a new cruise missile, an anti-ship projectile known as the Carter 380, and hundreds of missiles carrying speedboats and anti-ship mines. Then came the sixth and last unexpected surprise. Iran has agreed to pay $6 billion to purchase 48 Su-35 fighter jets from Moscow, with delivery anticipated between 2026 and 2028, according to leaked Russian defense documents. According to the reports, export data was purportedly obtained from a Radio Electronic Technologies, a division of Rostec Corporation, a state-owned company in Russia. Iran is listed in the paperwork for a package of 48 Su-35 multi-role fighters with customer code 364. Iran's Su-35 package is estimated by the leak tables to be worth over 5 decks or $6 billion when the complete airframe and weaponry are taken into account. The 48 aircraft figure was confirmed by the leak, which also contained 48 heads-up display systems and electronic warfare components. A multi-year timetable, including shipments of avionics and electronic warfare systems for the Iranian jets between 2024 and 2026, is laid out in the secret export tables. Complete aircraft deliveries are anticipated between 2026 and 2028. According to the source, Russia might offer semi-knockdown assembly in Iran in addition to basic export delivery. Regional aerospace partner, potentially affiliated with the Iran Aviation Industries Association. Iran might set up indigenous manufacturing facilities for fighters of the fourth generation. Consider what comes next. The Israeli Air Force preemptively attacked Iranian ballistic missiles that were still on their transporter erector launchers during the 12-day conflict by taking advantage of the semi-permissive airspace over Iran. However, part of Iran's ballistic missile stockpiles were preserved because to its underground basing architecture, known as missile cities. According to estimates, the IRGC lost about 100 soldiers at the end of the conflict, compared to 480 at the start. Two components of Iran's approach have been confirmed by recent interactions with Israel: that concealing launchers and missiles underground can guarantee that some, even the biggest ones, survive hits. Additionally, bulk salvos have the ability to either attack or breach U.S. and allied air and missile defenses. As Iran's missile capabilities mature, regional powers are bracing for the possible consequences. While refusing to back U.S. military actions against Iran, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are urgently modernizing their air defense networks. Israel is figuring out how to carry out preemptive strikes against hardened subterranean missile towns that escaped the 12-day war virtually intact because they understand that any fight would destroy their infrastructure and economies. While defending its own interests in averting regional instability, Turkey is presenting itself as a possible mediator. There is disagreement among the EU over how to in response. Some members call for sustaining maximum pressure through sanctions that have previously failed to impede Iran's missile manufacturing, while others advocate for diplomatic engagement to prevent escalation. As Iran openly disobeys international restrictions on ballistic missile development and continues testing systems intended to reach European capitals, the UN Security Council is still unable to coordinate any meaningful international response to the crisis due to conflicting interests. There is one thing that is certain: unidentified explosives aimed at. A day before large-scale live-fire drills in the Hormuz Strait, IRGC naval commanders shocked Bandar Abbas. Iran currently has more than 3,000 ballistic missiles, according to U.S. intelligence. Su-35 fighter deliveries, totaling $6 billion, are revealed by leaked Russian records. Fighter jets scramble overhead as underground missile cities continue to produce Khorramkar-4 rockets. Washington is warned by allies in the Persian Gulf that Iran has reconstructed its arsenal more quickly than expected. The initial bullets may have already been fired, and the news is getting tighter.